Thank you so much. I've already learned so much from my amazing fellow speakers, and I'm really excited to be here today. I actually want to start by having you ask yourselves, have you ever felt stuck or overwhelmed at work or in your personal life?
Yes, definitely.
Oh.
Almost immediate response, right? I think we can relate. Maybe that is with meeting deadlines. Maybe that's struggling to get your business off the ground, hitting your next health and fitness goal, or just waiting and waiting for that promotion. I've definitely been there, and I'm here today because most people don't realize how directly connected their fitness and wellness is to their professional performance. Movement, stress management, small daily habits don't just affect our health, they affect how we think, speak, and show up at work. And by improving these areas, you're not just taking care of your body, you're taking care of your mind and can even take your career to the next level. I'm Zehra Husnain, the founder of Mindfield Fitness and a speech and language pathologist focused on cognitive rehabilitation. I'm here to show you how my CALM method can help you show up stronger, speak clearer, and think faster at work, all while improving your wellness. I know what it's like to feel stuck. Early in my career, I was exhausted, stressed, constantly behind at work, and basically surviving off my double espresso lattes. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that, unfortunately. So of course, I wasn't sleeping well, I was eating poorly, and I was just really struggling to focus in meetings and just bring my best self to my personal interactions and my professional life. So fast forward, I was lucky enough to have a close friend who was really into fitness. So she showed me how to start taking better care of my body by integrating simple habits into my routine. Short workouts, mindful breathing, intentional nutrition, and I noticed something amazing over time. I not only looked better and felt better about myself, but I was thinking more clearly. I was speaking with more confidence and energy, and I was approaching challenges with less anticipatory stress. That's when I realized how fitness and wellness can directly impact our professional success. And I'm going to be sharing this through the lens of both a fitness and wellness coach and a speech and language pathologist. So I want to go ahead and break down the CALM method and talk about each of the 4 pillars: confidence, accountability, lifestyle, and mindset. Now, some of you might already be thinking, oh great, another fitness guru here to tell me that the gym's going to solve all my problems. But listen, I'm not here to tell you that. I'm here to tell you to first imagine continuing the way things are now. Fatigue, burnout, missed opportunities, overwhelm. Now, imagine if you can project your ideas confidently, handle stress without burning out, and not feel so drained after work that all you want to do is order takeout and crash on the couch. By the end of this talk, my goal is for all of you to see the connection between leveling up your fitness and wellness and leveling up your careers, and also feel motivated to start implementing small habits towards your goals. So diving into the first pillar, which is confidence. Confidence starts in the body and in the mind, and it shows in your presence at work. There are so many different elements to projecting confidence, but I want to point out 2 tangible things that you can work on right now: your body and your voice. Research shows that diaphragmatic breathing and upright posture activate the sympathetic nervous system in a controlled way, which increases alertness, reduces stress, and improves voice projection. So I'm going to walk us through a quick exercise right now that ties how we breathe during strength training to how we can project confidence at work when we speak. So what I'm going to have us do is first, imagine we're holding a weight and we are going to be working on pushing that weight away from our body. So to do this, we want to make sure that our feet are grounded about hip-width distance apart. So scoot up in that chair if you have to. Our core is engaged and our shoulders are back. Now, as we take a deep breath in through our nose, your stomach should be expanding first before your chest. If when you take a deep breath in, you notice your chest is expanding first, that's a clavicular breath that is much more shallow, which we don't want when we're speaking or when we're exercising. Now, after we take that deep inhale, as we exhale through our mouth, we are going to practice pressing this weight away from our body, engaging our core, pushing from our diaphragm, which means your stomach should then be going in. So quick demo for us all. Please jump in if you can. We're going to go quick deep breath in through the nose, stomach expanding. And we're going to exhale through the mouth. Stomach should be going in, pushing that weight away. Now, hopefully, as you did this with me, you felt your ab muscles wake up even slightly. If you didn't, no need to panic. One way to practice this is through resistance training. In resistance training, exhaling on exertion stabilizes our spine and engages our core. That same breath support system strengthens our voice. So by using your diaphragm and core when speaking, your words carry further, you sound more confident, and you make a stronger impact. Whether that's in a team meeting, a one-on-one conversation, a presentation. Now, people think that confidence only comes from results, right? In the fitness world, in the professional world, but a lot of it actually comes from the journey of finally taking action. I had a client who was terrified of leading meetings, but desperately wanted to be promoted. We practiced exercises to improve her posture, so a lot of pulling back exercises, and a lot of core supported breathing through resistance training. And after we did that, we practiced talking. Now, that same breath and core engagement gave her the power to project her voice and command attention. People at work started noticing this change, even commenting on her energy, her ability to really command the room. And within a few months, she was confidently presenting the leadership and finally landed that promotion. Made my day when she told me that. Now, I share this because when we start to project confidence, people notice it and they respond to it. In turn, the feeling of confidence within ourselves increases, and this becomes an endless positive loop. The key here is to stop thinking that we're just going to wake up one day with the confidence to go after our goals. Confidence requires consistent action, just like results do. Now, diving into pillar number 2, which is accountability. Accountability is not just for workouts. It can improve our reliability and follow through in other areas of our personal life and at work as well. That's because habit tracking actually strengthens our dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for planning. Ask yourself if you've ever noticed that feeling of satisfaction when you check something off your to-do list, whether you write it down or just mentally check it off. I know I have this feeling of satisfaction. And that's because our mind is actually releasing dopamine when we do that. And dopamine reinforces consistency with that habit, which creates another positive loop. Oftentimes, prioritizing our fitness can set a really solid mental foundation of accountability for your non-fitness related goals as well. So I encourage you to write down one professional or personal goal right now, whether that is pivoting careers, starting your own business, maybe just getting 8 hours of sleep a night finally. And while you do that, I'm going to share a quick story about one of my clients, one of my favorite stories. So I had a client who was consistently skipping her workouts. Every week we meet and I'd ask, what happened last week? What happened this time? One day she finally admitted, well, whenever I don't feel like working out, I just ask my husband if I deserve a break and he says yes. Now, I asked her, if you asked your husband whether you should finish your presentation due tomorrow for work, whenever you don't feel like it, do you think he'd say, don't do it, it'll be fine? She laughed and said, no, he sees work as a priority. That's when it clicked for me. Accountability only works when it's aligned with the priorities that matter. You can't rely on someone to hold you accountable for your goals if they don't see those goals as important as you do. you need to surround yourself with systems and people who understand your priorities, whether that's a coach, a class, a networking group, an event like this. That's how accountability drives results, both in fitness and at work. So I want you to think about who can really hold you accountable to that goal that you just wrote down. And if you can't think of anyone, I encourage you to seek out networking groups, coaches, mentors, participants here, anyone who sees your goal as a priority. Earlier today, Dr. Brandy actually shared a lot of different platforms you can start these important conversations on. So think about those different discussion platforms and ways that you can share your goals with each other. Because just by sharing it with someone who sees your goal as a priority, this creates more commitment to that goal, whether it is professional or personal. Now, we are halfway through the COM method. We're diving into the third pillar, which is lifestyle. There are so many elements with lifestyle that I could talk about right now, but I want to focus briefly on 3: sleep, nutrition, and movement, and how these 3 things can shape cognitive performance and energy at home and at work. Now, starting with quality sleep. Quality sleep supports hippocampus function, which is the part of our brain that is responsible for memory and recall. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed after a poor night's sleep, you feel kind of foggy, slow, you're slow to respond. And at work, of course, you need to be able to quickly recall important information on the spot. Quality sleep, very important. Now, moving into the next piece is balanced nutrition. We want to make sure we have balanced nutrition. That's our proteins, our carbs, our healthy fats, our micronutrients like our fruits and our veggies. And the reason for this is because a balanced meal stabilizes our blood sugar, which sustains our focus. Think about those long, dragged out meetings that could have been an email, right? Or those tiring tasks that you just need to stay attentive for, but you really want to fall asleep. Now, think about those energy crashes after a greasy meal or once your coffee wears off. This happens because our blood sugar is spiking and crashing, and so is our energy. So balanced meals equals balanced focus throughout your day. Super important. Diving into the last piece of lifestyle I want to touch on is exercise. Now, movement stimulates our BDNF, our brain-derived neurotrophic factor, fancy word for the part of our brain that's responsible for learning, creativity, and problem solving. Now, I'm sure you can think of a million situations that this is important in. One I'm going to point out is think about the Q&A after a presentation or those impromptu situations. You need to be able to associate concepts on the spot, quickly be able to problem solve during a meeting if someone brings up a problem you weren't expecting, to come up with some type of response. Now, this can all sound like a lot to focus on. Food, exercise, sleep. This is too much at once. Now, the goal is not to do an entire lifestyle overhaul all at once, because you're much less likely to stick to it if you do it all at once. So what I want to introduce to you is the concept of micro habits. Repeated small actions that reinforce the prefrontal cortex, which creates long-term consistency, so you can actually build on those habits over time. Even if you don't have time for a full workout, I hear this all the time, and I understand, we're busy people. Life is crazy nowadays. But you still can have time to stretch for 2 minutes while reading emails. You can drink a glass of water during each meeting. You have 5 meetings during your day, 8 ounces of water per meeting. You've got 40 ounces of water just sitting there. Or you can even take a 5-minute mindful walk with your morning coffee instead of doom scrolling in bed. These are micro habits, small, easy to do actions that fit right into your regular routine and compound over time. So the excuse that I don't have time no longer exists. So to try a little example, I encourage you all to just stretch a little bit while you listen to me speak for the next 30 seconds or so. Just go ahead, stretch out, whatever you got to do, stand up, move around for the next 30 seconds or so. I see it, I love it. Keep on going. 30 seconds, right? Now I share this because even these tiny actions can help you feel more energized and more focused. Most of my clients struggle with energy crashes during their workday. 9 times out of 10, I introduce micro habits. Quick desk stretches, can do them right now while I'm speaking. Investing in a walking pad for long meetings. Maybe it's one you don't really have to present in, you just got to listen for a long time. Walk during that meeting, especially if your camera's off. We got no excuses. Having protein-rich snacks in their desk drawer. I know a lot of us, I used to fall into this a lot where I'm like, no, I have to accomplish this task before I can eat anything. Meanwhile, I feel myself literally crashing and my body shutting down, but I'm like, no, I have to finish this. Having readily available healthy snacks by your desk can make such a big difference. Getting better sleep, put your phone away 30 minutes before bed. A little bit earlier, right? It'll take away that blue light. It helps with quality sleep. Small little habits. I've seen time and time again how these teeny tiny little things can become a tool for professional performance, not just for fitness. So I encourage you all, ditch that all or nothing mindset that I know a lot of us are wired in, and think of a small micro habit you can implement into your routine starting today. Now, speaking of mindset, I am going to dive right into my fourth and final pillar, because that pillar is mindset. Now, this is really the engine that powers our entire journey. Thomas Edison famously said, I haven't failed. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Now, he faced a million setbacks when inventing the light bulb. And instead of seeing them as failures, he reframed each one as a learning experience. That mindset eventually led to an invention that changed the world. Now, when we face stress or setbacks, our amygdala, which is just our brain's alarm system, can really hijack our responses. They make us reactive, anxious, short-tempered, all which lead to burnout. So reframing challenges, or even just pausing to reflect on them, can again engage our prefrontal cortex, which can help regulate our amygdala. This leads to calmer decision-making, sharper focus, and better emotional control, both at home and at work. And I'm sure we can all think of why this would be beneficial for us in our personal life and our professional life. If we keep telling ourselves, I don't have time to exercise, eating healthy is too hard, every time we're faced with a challenge related to our health, we're going to get overwhelmed and we're going to quit. This is too much for me. But if we can learn to shift our mindset to saying, I have 15 minutes to get some movement in today, or, I need to find ideas on how I can eat healthier while it's still being convenient, you'll notice a lot less reactivity in your brain and your body and more progress over time. And when it comes to work, think about those dreaded Q&A sessions or interviews. When you get asked a question and you don't know the answer, you totally freeze. You literally feel the tension in your body, your tense shoulders, your heart pounding, those sweaty palms, and your mind goes completely blank. I know I've been there. Now, the more we work on reframing our thoughts going into a challenge like that, and not thinking about it as the dreaded Q&A or what if I bomb this interview, but rather seeing it as an opportunity to help people see my value, the better our response will be in the moment. So I want you all to take a moment to think of a recent work challenge or personal challenge. Whatever is popping into your mind, I want you to try to reframe it as an opportunity rather than a threat or a negative. We want to push that type of framing away and frame it as more of an opportunity. Every time we do that, you'll notice the tension in your shoulders, your breathing, your mental clarity, all kind of calming down and regulating over time. Now, it's not an overnight thing. Mindset is something that takes a long time to build, but with consistency and commitment, we can get there. And this is really important to develop because it helps us break the cycle of burnout and can help you really reach new limits. Now, we've gone through the 4 pillars of the CALM method. And the beauty of the CALM method is that each pillar works together. There's no specific order you have to do these things in. They all work together. Confidence empowers you to take action. Accountability keeps you committed and consistent. Lifestyle sustains your energy and focus. And mindset fuels resilience and clarity. So strengthening even one of these pillars can really create ripple effects that improve your wellness and your professional performance. Remember, every small, teeny tiny step that you take, whether it's a stretch, a mindful walk, a core supported breath, your fitness and wellness can build confidence, focus, and energy that you bring to every professional interaction. So don't put yourself on the back burner any longer. Start prioritizing your fitness and wellness today through those small micro habits, those small reframes of your thoughts. And if you need support along the way, I'd love to be part of your journey. I'm sure there'll be an opportunity to connect, and just shoot me a DM if you are interested. Because remember, you deserve to look good, feel good, and most importantly, stay calm. Thank you, everyone, and I will see you at the Q&A.